the best possible color camera, I take a photograph of all the details of the food served there, and then I bring the copies of the photograph here into this hall and give each to each of you. And if I say that I have served dinner to you, do you accept? This is what is called your idea of experience, which is totally false and different from your experience. So, what we want is experience and not our idea of experience. But often 99 times out of 100, our experience possibility is polluted by our idea of experience. Do you follow what I say? And this is because a lack of discrimination. This is because we do not know that there is the experience different from our idea of experience. Our idea includes the three objects, so the experience is not there with us, whereas experience excludes all the three objects. And when a piece of poetry is enjoyed, the aesthetician scientist of ancient India asks us to test ourselves if we are having the experience of poetry or our idea of experiencing the poetry. He says, if you are, as long as you are reading it with great interest, you are not in experience, but you are in your idea of experience. When a time comes while reading a poem, when automatically your reading stops and the poem and the book drops off from your mind, and the idea of what you are reading is dropped off totally from your mind, and if it is not sleep, it is the state which is required, which is intended of by the poet. A good poet should intend the same thing to the reader. A good reader should aspire for the same state while he is reading a good poem. Same thing with music, same thing with any piece of art, especially drama, because drama is a synthesis of all the fine arts. Not only that, the whole creation comes out of such a synthesis, and after it undergoes a process of analysis in many directions, we call it creation. So, the secret of creation can be experienced only by a proper experience of drama. That is the origin of mysteries of the ancients. We, many of us, do not know the real meaning of the word mystery, and the ancients have established many mystery halls and mystery temples as theaters. Not in the present sense of the theater, but in their own way. If you properly make a study of the ancient Egyptian mysteries or Greek mysteries or ancient Indian dramas, you will find what they aimed at. Now, the present concept of drama is only a failure and a counterfeit of the ancient system of drama, and what we call the rituals and of the many ritualistic halls like Freemasonry and Rosicrucianism are only copies of the original, unfortunately thorough failures of what they attempted, because neither the Freemason nor the Rosicrucian who attends his temple is conscious of what he should experience, or he is not conscious of what for he is going there. It is for the same experience. They called the halls the mystery halls, and all the temples of all the so-called religions which we see now, they are originally aimed at the same effect and purpose and experience. Once again, it will be discovered after a few decades. If you read the books of Alice A. Bailey, you will find that the master, he hints at many places that in the near future there will be once again the opening up of the mystery temples. What does he mean by that? He means only the same process of breaking up of the triangle. If it is through the objects of the five senses, it is called the real temple worship and the real tantra science. Unfortunately, yoga is understood differently, tantra is understood in a different way, and temples are understood in a different way, and Masonry and Rosicrucianism, they are understood in a blind different way. Nowadays they are useful only to feel the pride of their own procedure. The member of every ritualistic order, whether Freemasonry or co-Freemasonry or Rosicrucianism or Egyptian order, just he or she feels the pride of being the member of that order. That's the only advantage that is left, whereas the real advantage is different. This is the meaning of Traividya in the ancient Indian scriptures. That is the threefold wisdom. The same is the meaning of the word Trinosophia, given by the Hungarian adept called Saint Germain. Of course, in the modern world there are many counterfeits for Saint Germain, just as there are many false Christ. If I say I am Saint Germain, immediately you can understand that I am not, because no person on the face of earth has no necessity to declare that he is himself. Have I any necessity to prove that I am Krishnamacharya? When even an ordinary man has no necessity to prove himself, why should an illustrious master like Saint Germain come to the TV or theatre and declare and proclaim many times that he is Saint Germain? Or somebody coming to the platform and say, I am Christ. Immediately you can come to the conclusion to yourself without asking anyone that he is anyone except Christ, or he is anyone except Saint Germain. You can be most sure of it, because one has no necessity to try to prove that he is himself. The master has given a book, and if you go through that book, there are certain rituals and the process described how to do it, and the same is the effect you are expected to experience. And one more point before going to the next aspect. In the Tantra, it is described that the triangle is broken and you will be taken into the temple through a narrow passage, and after you enter into the temple, there is neither beginning nor ending. that is your experience. And inside you will find the mother. That is what the tantric books explain. What does that mean? When the triangle is broken, that is, when the three aspects have dropped off from your perception, you will enter into a passage of consciousness which leads you to the one existence, and it is called the basic nature of existence. It is called the basic nature of existence, a part of which is the nature of this solar system, a part of which is the nature of this planet Earth, a part of which is the nature of the biological kingdom of this earth, a part of which is the nature of the human being on this earth, called the human nature, a part of which is your individual nature. And until all these layers are broken, Mother Nature is not touched by you in your experience. And it is very, very difficult if you try to break them by yourself. So, you follow the method given in the Tantra, in the Patanjali Yoga, and in the right temple process, and then immediately you are there. So, this is called the ninth nature, or the Mother Nature, or the Mother simply, because below that there are 8 natures. They are called the lower natures. They are as follows: the earth nature, water nature, fire nature, air nature, that is the natures of the elements, ether nature, mind nature, buddhic nature, and ego nature. How many? 8. These are called the 8 lower natures, beyond which there is the ninth. This is what the Tibetan master calls in the Alice A. Bailey's books the soul consciousness. When you know how to exist in that state, you automatically exist in group consciousness. Otherwise, we will exist in mass consciousness. Though we sit together to form a party, or we sit in a hall to get ourselves baptized into one religion, however great we may try to be in oneness, we differ from each other when we are in the mass level. And when we touch the ninth nature, all the lower natures undergo transformation. Just as 8 pieces of iron can be magnetized by the touch of one magnet. And if 100 such people sit in a hall, what happens is all the bodies sit in one person instead of everyone sitting in a body. That is the change that occurs when you become group conscious. Not only that, you may sit in Geneva, I may sit in India, and he may sit in Belgium, she may sit in Germany, but we all sit together in all the bodies simultaneously, because our existence gets doubled. We exist in our body, at the same time one person existing in all our bodies. This is what happens when you touch the center of the triangle, or when you cross the 8 lower natures and touch the 9th nature, called the mother nature or the mother. That's why all the tantric books invariably lead you to the mother worship concept. Now we go to the next aspect of the subject of triangles. When we are expected to understand the subject of cosmogenesis and anthropogenesis, that is about the secret doctrine, we are first explained that there is the background of all this creation who exists in every one of us, just as the same blackboard exists in every circle. It never objects the circles existing or triangles existing or the squares existing or any figures existing. But in all these figures, only one blackboard is existing. Like this, there is one background exists, who can only rightly be called God, whom the followers of various religions cannot understand, unless they use their religion as the window to be opened towards the eastern horizon. Unless, as long as they shut the doors of their window, finding their own identification with their own religion as different from others, they have to live in blindness and darkness. So when they know how to open the window of their own religion, the light that comes in is not their own sunlight, but it is the sunlight. India cannot have Indian sunlight, Switzerland cannot have Swiss sun. So the same sunlight sheds through the window. Those people only can know the meaning of the word God. Also the word Lord is used. And in Indian scriptures, another word is also used, Brahman, as different from Brahma. Those who want to read Indian scriptures, be careful of the two fellows. Brahman means the highest God concept, who is above and beyond all concepts of creation. Whereas the fellow Brahma is the creator, or a portion of the Lord coming down as the capacity of creator. That's why the creator is said to have come from the navel lotus of the Lord. And he makes the creation, and at the end of his own span, the creation is reabsorbed into himself, and he is absorbed into his own lotus, and the lotus is absorbed in the background. The background is never absorbed anywhere, because it is the background, and because nothing exists on the background. It is only existence, and nothing exists on the background. So such a fellow is called the Brahman, and in the Vedic literature he is called the Purusha. And after this fellow the creator comes. This fellow is also called by the name, same name. And when the 7 layers of creation come down, each of the space globe is called by the same name. Each solar system is also called by the same name. And each of us living on this earth as human beings or cows or dogs or insects or birds, as the indwellers of any form of body, are also indicated by the word Purusha, because all these fellows have only the same blackboard as their background. In you the same fellow exists, in me the same fellow exists, whom we call the spirit, and about whom we practice spiritualism. And when that fellow wants to come down as creation, he is said to have his first triangle, that is creator, creation, that is as an object, and creating. The fellow could not escape the triangle. So he is bound immediately by the triangle when he wanted to create, because his neighboring god coughed, and this fellow is disturbed from his state, and he remembered once again that he is in the musical theatre. So first triangle forms with, and the process is described like this. This fellow identifies himself as two halves of himself, that is the I am of himself, the mine of himself, Maya. That is, this is called himself, this is called his nature. So he has a recollection of his own nature after a total absorption, and then the total becomes a brilliant egg. This is called the egg of creation, or Virat. And Virat, it is called Virat in Sanskrit. And the same fellow finds himself expressing through his nature. He is beyond his own nature, he has his own nature, and he expresses himself through his own nature. Just as you behave according to your own nature, yet you can observe yourself away from your own nature. Therefore, the first I am is there as the number one principle, the second is there as nature, and the third is there as himself expressed through his nature. And the first fellow is called symbolically father, the second is called his wife or mother, and the third fellow is called son. So this is the first triangle of creation, a comprehension of which is as difficult to understand as it is easy when we follow the other process. See how easy it was when we followed the first process, that is the process of tantra, or the process of music, or poetry. And though it is difficult, people try to follow this way also and understand, and this is also expressed like this. The fellow Parabrahman expresses himself through nature, and the same fellow is found as his own son. So the absolute God concept as the absolute consciousness, and his nature as power, and the third fellow as creation. This forms the first triangle. This is one concept of following the cosmogenesis through triangles. And in the language of the philosophers, it is understood as Atma, Buddhi and Manas. In the Secret Doctrine and the books of Alice A. Bailey, you will find this terminology. And another aspect is the concept of creator, that is the fellow whom we called son in the previous triangle, the son of the first couple. He comes down as creator. He has his own creation and his process of creating. Immediately he finds himself as creation and creating, as separated from himself, and these two work as spirit and matter of the cosmic order, and this fellow exists as a double when he is called the divine androgyne. In the scriptures he is called Ardhanari. Artha means half, Nari means female. That is half male principle and half female principle. This concept is very well explained in the second volume of Isis Unveiled by Madame Blavatsky. And when the light of the original Lord and reaches this level, do you know what happens? The same thing happens as the sun's ray coming and reaching the triangular prism. It will be decomposed into 7 rays, and here the result is the septenary principle of the creation. That is the origin of the 7 planes of creation. That is the physical, etheric, mental, buddhic, nirvanic, paranirvanic, mahaparanirvanic, according to the terminology of the Secret Doctrine and the books of Alice A. Bailey. So the septenary begins to exist on the cosmic plane. Each of these planes undergo a subdivision of 7 again, and each of these subdivisions undergo a subdivision of 7 each again, until they reach the 7-fold descent of the planetary chains. At the end, or the 7th subplane, we have our physical globes of all planets and the sun. That is what we call the visible solar system. This is one aspect of understanding the triangle.